Throughout the past month, I have created a small series based on the new for 2021 roller coasters coming to the state of Florida. If you haven't seen the past 4 episodes of the series, I highly suggest watching those videos before you get any farther into this one. In my last video, we dove into Iron Gwazi at Busch Gardens, Tampa. So now, let's kick off the final episode of the series. American roller coasters tend to be simple, yet extreme coasters that are loaded with record-breaking elements, crazy airtime, and insane forces. While states like Ohio, California, Pennsylvania, and Missouri have a ton of roller coasters that are so similar, yet so different. Now, one state has a legendary coaster collection not because of height, speed, or length, but because of world-class theming and unique layouts. When you look at Florida's coaster collection, you see unique coaster models or common models with unique layouts. SeaWorld Orlando has a B&M Flyer and a Floorless, two of the rarest B&M models. Disney World has some of the most well-known and well-themed roller coasters in the world. And Universal has one of the only launched B&M roller coasters, the most expensive roller coaster in the world, and a coaster that you can't find anywhere else in America. Now, 2021 is a special year for Floridians since we are getting 5 world-class attractions around the state. We have never seen this before in the state of Florida, nor will we probably ever see it again. So far, we've taken a closer look into Tron Light Cycle Run at the Magic Kingdom and saw how its lighting and canopy will shine throughout the Magic Kingdom. We also saw how Icebreaker is the perfect addition to SeaWorld Orlando and how its tiny footprint will pack a huge punch. We also took a look into Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind and saw how it will be one of, if not the most themed roller coaster in the world. And finally, we saw how Iron Gwazi will be a contender for the world's best roller coaster. But now we are down to the final ride, one that I think will be the best in the state, if not the country, if not the world. Introducing a new world-class Intamin LSM multi-launch coaster. Introducing a new highly themed and immersive experience. Introducing the new Jurassic World VelociCoaster. Now, if you're new here, you may know that I am very much looking forward to the new coaster coming to Universal. I've even made a video where I said it's the best roller coaster in the world. Now, to say you guys didn't agree would be an understatement, but I'm here to tell you that those comments haven't changed my mind. In fact, I recently sat in front of this ride for a combined 9.5 hours in a 2-day span. That is how long Hagrid's was on opening day. Nearly 3 hours of sitting in the spot, and I got a churro. Why? Well, I thought it was going to test, which it never did, but that's not what this video is about. This video is why VelociCoaster will change the amusement industry. Now, I know that sounds crazy at first, but by the end of this video, you will understand what I mean, so let's get right into it. Jurassic World VelociCoaster is a new Intamin LSM multi-launch coaster opening at Universal's Islands of Adventure in Orlando, Florida. This will be the park's 6th coaster, depending on what you count as a coaster, and it will be located in the Jurassic Park section in the park. However, this ride will be themed to the new Jurassic World franchise and will be the park's first take on this new series. Ever since my last video, we have a lot more to talk about other than theme and layout. So, for those who don't know, the ride will take place in Jurassic World. The Velociraptors have escaped their cages, and it's your job to pursue them and put them back in their cages. On your journey, you will encounter beautiful rockwork, dinosaur animatronics, 2 show scenes, Velociraptor statues, and even some pyro. This ride will have a max height of 155 feet, being 12 feet shorter than Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket. It will hit a max speed of 70 miles per hour, making it the fastest coaster in all of Universal Orlando Resort, and the trains will feature the new Intamin lap bar restraints, which you put on like an over-the-shoulder restraint. It will also have headlights along the seats and front of the vehicle, and will even feature some onboard audio. The layout will begin as the trains pull into the first launch, where you will then encounter your first show scene. It will then launch into an Immelman and will then head up into a dive loop. The ride will then take a quick turn to the right and then head up into a small airtime hill. Following this, the train will then dive down and head up into a downwards S-bend. After a small overbank, the train will take a quick turn and head into an outer banked airtime hill and dive down into the second launch. After the second launch, the train will head up into a large 155-foot top hat, being the tallest part of the ride, and dive down into a 100-foot long zero-G stall. After this, the coaster will then go into a wave turn, only to be followed by a fast outer bank airtime hill. After another overbank turn, the train will then go through a small speed hill and whip through a snappy hardline roll. Finally, the coaster will then twist up through a snappy airtime hill and head up into the final brake run. After this, you will then encounter the second show scene and will then return to the station. This layout will be extremely powerful, as it will have lots of airtime, forces, and snappy transitions throughout the whole ride. But now let me tell you why this will be a world-class coaster. Now, VelociCoaster isn't in its own category. There are many other roller coasters that are similar to this ride. Rides like Terran, the new Wallaby Belgium Hyper, and Pantheon are very similar. But there is one ride that I believe is extremely similar to VelociCoaster, and that is Maverick at Cedar Point, a classic Intamin Blitz coaster that is loaded with airtime, forces, and possibly the whippiest transitions you have ever seen on a roller coaster. Now, I myself have ridden Maverick, and it barely holds a spot in my top 10, so why do I think VelociCoaster will be that much better? Well, it's because it has two things that Maverick doesn't. Those things are lap bars, but most importantly, theming. To prove what I mean, let's look at a coaster just steps away from VelociCoaster. Take a look at Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. This Intamin family coaster has 7 launches, a drop track, a backwards section, a high-speed transfer track, and even a spike. But it only reaches a top speed of 50 miles per hour and only has a height of 65 feet. Now, if this coaster was surrounded by nothing, it would still be a fun ride, but it just wouldn't be anything to brag about. The theming that is loaded into this coaster is what makes it such a fantastic experience. In fact, I would take Hagrid's over rides such as Mystic Timbers, Kumba, Montu, and Millennium Force just because of its theming alone. Hagrid's was a ride that I wasn't looking forward to in my first ride because it replaced one of my all-time favorite coasters, Dragon's Challenge. Now, Dragon's Challenge barely had any theming throughout the ride experience. In fact, it had none. But the coaster itself was very good, and it still to this day is one of my all-time favorite roller coasters. So when I found out it was getting replaced by an Intamin family coaster, I was disappointed to say the least. But after my first ride on Hagrid's, I actually found myself enjoying Hagrid's more than Dragon's Challenge. Not as a coaster, but as an overall experience. I think Hagrid's is a world-class ride, and there really is nothing else like it. Sure, there are models similar to Hagrid's, but nothing compares to the overall experience. And there's a big difference between ride and overall experience. So let's go back to VelociCoaster. The theme is going to be so immersive and so astonishing that it will make it the best coaster out there. If Maverick was loaded with theming at every corner, it would be my favorite coaster, not in the park, but my personal favorite. So VelociCoaster has an equal layout, but with theming, that is what's going to make it so special. But how will it change the industry? We've been seeing a spread of coasters that parks have been trying to incorporate some theming into their rides. Cedar Point gave Steel Vengeance a huge storyline, and even had some theming throughout the queue line, and some throughout the land. VelociCoaster will be the first extreme coaster in America to include this kind of level of theming. You only see this stuff on family coasters or indoor coasters, not on large outdoor roller coasters. So hopefully parks around the country, if not the world, will see VelociCoaster as a revolutionary addition to the industry, and it will inspire parks to step up their game and invest more money into their roller coasters. In the end, this ride will be a game changer. There will be no other coaster that can top VelociCoaster's experience, but all we have to do now is wait. And I will definitely be in front of the park's entrance by 2 AM just to be one of the first riders on this legendary coaster. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the final part of my series about the new for 2021 roller coasters opening in Florida. Again, if you haven't seen all the other episodes, I highly suggest checking those out. And if you have seen every episode, I hope this inspired you to make a visit to all of these amazing theme parks in the area. If you haven't yet, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel. I upload content just like this every single week. As always, this was Hunter from Theme Park Hunting. I'll see you guys later, and follow the thrill.